Hello and welcome to Brobot Dialogues, our ongoing series in which we discuss and debate key issues and topics that are driving the auto industry. Today, the subject for discussion is the digital revolution, the digital era that is sweeping across the industry. Now, the question is, are we doing enough digitally or are we doing too much? Is there an over reliance on the digital medium as well? Should digital products be seen as a solution or is it just a medium amongst others? Now, to talk about this and more, we have an eminent panel. We have Tarun Garg, the Director of Sales and Marketing of Hyundai Motor India. We have Balbir Singh Dillon, the brand head of Audi India. We have Avik Chattopadhyay, the co-creator of Experial India, and Sachin Chilawat, the head of emerging market and online telesales business of Reliance General Insurance. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Appreciate your time. I'd like to start off with Mr. Garg. Hyundai has done a lot in the digital space. So, just to give a sense of the current digital ecosystem and how it's evolving.
We can very clearly see that the Indian customers are really driving the digital wave across the world. COVID, of course, has accelerated this. And as far as Hyundai is concerned, frankly speaking, even before COVID, if you remember, Hormas, we had anticipated this kind of a digital shift and launched some very interesting products. Especially that click to buy in terms of a end-to-end car buying platform. So the traction keeps on going up, but that is only half the story. The second half story of the story is, of course, about the use of digital as far as in connected cars going forward, and the changing expectation of the customers from their car, because increasingly they are looking at cars as their third space, beyond their home and office.
Balbir, clearly, obviously, at the luxury end, I would imagine the digital adoption or the wave is a lot more accelerated. Is there, let's say, a little bit more intimacy that is needed with your products, which sometimes the digital medium can't really serve?
Foremost, first of all, thank you for having me in the show, and greetings to all the viewers. Yes, of course, you're right. In the luxury space, the need for digitalization is even more. You understand the complexity of the product lineup that we have, and each product have many variants, and then there is a lot of personalization involved in some of our products which we offer in India. So interaction with customer is a long process where customers spend, let's say, 50, 60, 70% of the time before buying the car online on through digital media. Then obviously, since it is a very emotional buying, eventually they end up interacting with our sales team across the network and touch feel the car. So this is just one part of the story, Hormats, which is pre-buying experience. Then during the buying experience and post-buying experience, digitalization is now everywhere. And there is also one important thing which we have to keep in mind, that in India we also believe in negotiations. So a deal is not completed unless there is a physical interaction with at a dealership. So there are multiple roles, multiple layers in this whole buying cycle. But buying cycle is just one part of the whole journey. We are in touch with our customer through our My Audi app throughout the life. All the cars that we sell now from last year onward, they're all connected cars. So buying is just one part of it. Maybe let's say 25% of the whole experience. The rest 75% is beyond buying the car. So it has to be there, and it is only growing and growing further.
Right. And Avik, you've been part of the industry. Now you're in a way outside the industry, looking in. How do you see the way the whole digital play is evolving?
Firstly, digital to me is a medium. It's not the end. Okay, so no, just like we earlier had an entirely physical interaction, then we moved on to print, then we moved on to television, electronic, radio, and so on. So digital is a medium. So let us actually regard that as the way of reaching out and offering far better experiences to customers. Secondly, what's very important is digital needs to be conversational. Okay, it is not made up of, it is not a world of bots. Okay, I mean, even if you have bots, okay, you need to have human bots, right? It has got to be two-way, as Balbir was saying. It's about emotions, and these emotions are at any are at any kind of a vehicle. The third important of the digital interface is, the definition of the customer is changing. It's changing from the customer to the consumer, right? And the consumer of tomorrow need not always be an owner of your vehicle. For example, I may not be able to afford to buy an Audi, but if my experience with having consumed the Audi interface is so interesting, I'll end up being an advocate for the brand. And that is the important role that digital can actually play. And fourth, to me, at the end of the day, it cannot be standalone. As Tarun was also saying, Balbir was also saying, it's got to be a very, very nice balance and a mix of the digital and the physical or the sensory appeal of the automobile. So to me, this is what really the world of digital means to me as a person from the outside.
Right. And Sachin, turning to you on the insurance being done to drive the digital revolution.
Almost the writing on the wall is pretty clear. The future of insurance sector post COVID-19 lies in uh, artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, and insurtech partnerships. How insurers adopt to these technologies in these interesting times will be crucial to their future growth. In the insurance domain, for companies like us, we already had large-scale digital infrastructure in place, much ahead of pandemic. Everything from customer onboarding, processing to servicing of customers was happening digitally. But due to the nature of business we are into, customers were more used to or comfortable with the physical intervention at times. What COVID did was that it instantly switched the customer preferences from physical to digital and accelerated the use of digital ecosystem for all of us.
Clearly, what we are seeing is that there's also a lot of clutter. I mean, this digital overload. So to break the clutter, I mean, do you see the next step is to be the use of AI to give more curated information to the customer?
Yes, you're right, Hormas. And I think there's a very key point here. Indian customer is very different, and sometimes his needs are also very different. So if you see, what Hyundai has done is that we have made some very specific India experience based features when we talk about, say, connectivity. And here again, I like to give you an example. We used to talk about sunroof. And if you remember, Hormas, that when Creta was launched, this voice enabled sunroof became such a craze. And frankly speaking, I mean, to me as an Indian customer, I always thought that why will so many customers want a sunroof in India? I mean, with all our weather conditions. But the craze is simply going up, and it started with 20%, 30%. Now half the population wants a sunroof, and most of them want a voice enabled sunroof. So it is also about how your aspirations are going up, and it is also about the convenience part of it, but most importantly, how you can keep the specific customer in mind, the Indian customer in mind, rather than only bringing those global curated solutions to India. I think that is very, very important.
There used to be times when the feedback from customer goes to a dealer, from a dealer goes to a call center, from a call center comes to us, a long chain. But with digital, what is happening is everything in between is being cut off. So now the feedback is also coming to us directly.
The Kirana Ka Dukan is a great example of hyper personal relationships, right? They actually maintain accounts for almost every household, and they have a fairly good idea of which household needs what kind of items. In 6 months, that person knows that what item would he be falling short of, what is a new item that has come as a substitute of the existing one, which can actually be better and can make your life, can actually improve your life. So we've got used to it. So why not we use the same examples of the world around us, okay, and go out and apply the same hyper personal solutions to the consumers? I think it'll definitely lead to not only better retention, but also far, far greater levels of what I call active advocacy in the community.
I just want to touch upon, let's say, something like insurance. I mean, to make it more intimate. I mean, is there some way of just constantly keeping your customer engaged?
So once a customer is onboarded with us, we have an entire customer engagement. So we have a lifespan of 1 year for a motor customer, and in his lifespan of 1 year, at various stages, we are continuously connecting with the customer through various mediums, or like emails, like messages, like welcome calling. So all these factors put together, we ensure, because at the time of renewal, we don't want a customer to just notice it that the insurance company got in touch with us at the time of sale. So in the entire period till the time, even if he is not met with an accident or he did not take a claim, uh, we are regularly engaging with the customer via various digital mediums.
Everyone's talked about the opportunities. It's become very exciting, and I just want to know what the challenges are. Are we still very much behind the curve where we should be? Are we just doing too much? So, Tarun, starting with you, yeah, I mean, what are the challenges you foresee in this digital journey and transformation, which I think in a way has just begun?
What this COVID has done is that because customers are so digitally connected, now they know what is happening all across, and they really want, and they're okay to pay as long as you are providing them that kind of convenience. So I think for a OEM, very important is that what does a customer want, and also sometimes not only what he's expressing but also his latent. I think that is going to be critical, Hormas, that I think it's our responsibility not only to take care of the spoken needs but also the latent needs, and really drive that customer experience to the next level. So that I believe is going to be a big challenge as well as an opportunity.
I mean, looking at Audi, when you want to go to level 3 autonomy and more, clearly we just cannot bring that over here. Firstly, we don't have 5G networks, we just don't have the ecosystem. So a lot of technologies which you have, which must be frustrating, you can't bring over here. Also, there are certain radar frequencies in terms of safety, which again, everything's not over here. So do you find that a bit of a limitation? And also the other point is, do you sometimes think there's also a digital overload? Because as we had said, it was discussed, data rates are so cheap that you can just get bombarded just a lot with it.
So almost many questions, so you will have to be giving me time to answer on most of them.
Yes, absolutely.
But
You've got lots of time.
before I answer the questions, one more thing which is very important to also mention is super. Mostly we have spoken about the customers, but what we have been able to achieve in last, let's say, couple of years is a lot about training programs. Training our own manpower at dealerships, sales as well as after sales, which we can also design through virtual realities, through videos, through one-to-one interaction with multiple people online. That is also part of digital revolution that has happened last couple of years. Going forward, let's say we are moving towards electrification. Before somebody touches, the battery, how to, check the batteries in the electrified cars. We do the trainings through virtual reality. So, it's not just limited to our customers, but it is also going much beyond this, which is right now reality of the day, and we need to continue to work on this. Coming back to what you said about 5G technology, I think it's only a matter of time. We will have all of them. But of course, there are also certain restrictions which every country has in terms of regulation. So the regulatory issues do come into our ways once a while, but we live with it, and not all the options available across the world are also available in India in each of the cars. So there are some things which you have to compromise, but move on. So that's why I said we have a combination of what we do locally. At the same time, we bring in technology which is there from our headquarters for our customers because they're very well traveled. So it's like a global solution. So you have to work with certain limitations for sure. But by and large, I'm very positive about the digital wave, whichever is happening. It gives you so much of a bandwidth to work with our customers. There are multiple channels where you can engage. You can see their life cycle, how they own the cars, how frequently they get in touch with us, where they're moving. We were discussing about insurance. I think going forward, how the cars are being used will also impact the cost of insurance. So we are just evolving every day. I think one more thing which we all must appreciate is that India is also a global hub of IT. So getting these things done in India is relatively cheaper as compared to if you have to get these things done abroad. And to be honest, many of the initiatives that we do, many of other countries do take these initiatives. They learn from us as Audi India, and they also try to implement the same things in other countries as well. So there is a lot of positivity. I'm quite positive for this.
Clearly, everyone's moving in one direction, and that obviously the whole experience of whatever you purchase or service you have can be enhanced so much digitally. But sometimes do we need a digital detox as well?
Yeah, the digital detox is actually already happening, Hormaz. Not here, but it's already happening in Europe and in the US. And that is more to do with, when you're using digital as a medium to to communicate openly, and the the creation of content and the consumption of content. And we do see some very, very large marketers and advertisers actually cutting back on their digital spends, because they've realized, when they've started measuring it, that it actually hits an indifference curve, and therefore they're redeploying those resources back into the more physical, sensory, the touch and feel aspect, especially when it comes to a product like the automobile. There needs to be somewhere, even a toning down of the number of digital bells and whistles in the cars today. Okay. Yes, I mean, we are fascinated. I guess we are right now, at the initial stage of this area of having 18-inch and possibly someday 24-inch screens in our cars, where we have 230 tabs and buttons to do stuff. It's all got to become simpler at some point of time. I mean, one button or one tab should allow me to do 10 things, right? Okay. So to me, these are two important challenges in the digital world, along with infrastructure, that both Tarun and Balbir spoke of.
So just the last question, just to take off from Avik, are we giving a digital overload in the cars, or is it just driven by what customers really want, which is more and more of it?
Hurmas, I have a slightly different view on this. I think we are, as we all mentioned, of course, that we are still evolving. What is important is to really go back to the customer and see, what are the things he wants and what are the things he's not using. I think that is a very, very critical input. We should not just, like Avik also mentioned, that just give a standard global solution. We have to really see where does the value lie. Of course, if need be, we have to go hyper local and see, for every customer may have a different need. So I think that is where each OEM has to evolve. Yes, there is still a long way to go. EVs are still starting. We are autonomous. I mean, we are still, some way to go. So I think I would not say that it is still an overdose, but yes, we have to really keep a tab of the usage exactly. I think that is important. The consumer, what is he using, and not really get into a rat race of, okay, my car has 100 features, his car has 80 features. I think that is not good enough. So you have to make it actually see that what is exactly being used. And I think today, this artificial intelligence allows you to do that. We can clearly see what is being used and what is simply not being used.
I just want to wrap this up, Sachin, with you. Of course, insurance a completely different part of the business, but again very much linked. I just want to ask you is, even for you all, there must whilst you all have really been far ahead on the digital curve, what are the challenges and what's the way forward?
So I think one of the areas where innovation has yet to happen, or you could say it is just started, is on the product design side, right? So you'll witness a lot of action on this aspect in the insurance industry. Companies are working round the clock. Companies like us are working round the clock to build and offer products that are a lot more customized and flexible to suit the consumer's individual needs. Right. Just to quote you an example, we've come out with a product called as Motor Floater. Nowadays, you see a lot of customers owning up, multiple cars. Especially Audi the Audi car will not be his first car. So in that sense, why should a customer pay insurance for multiple cars when he is going to drive one single car at a time? So we came out with a Motor Floater kind of product, which was very unique in this industry. So one sum insured covers all the cars, right? In terms of digital, as I said earlier, we'll see lot more, and with a lot of data also flowing in, we'll see a lot more usage of AI, ML, IoTs, bots, and digital processing. But as Mr. Avik said, companies should find a way to balance it with human interaction and trust building, because the relationship part of the insurance is never going to go away, even if the medium changes, right? And the balance has to be fine, and that's going to be very, very crucial.
Great. Thanks for that, Sachin. It's been a really fascinating discussion, actually. I mean, a big learning for me personally as well. I think clearly, whilst we are on the digital path and accelerating up the curve, still a lot to be done. I think a lot of it also linked to our ecosystem as well. But clearly, we are on the way, and something which COVID has certainly accelerated in this whole digital revolution as we speed forward. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and really appreciate your time, and wish you all the best. Thank you.